We have been on our very first Princess cruise for 24 hours now. We are on the brand new Sun Princess, and we thought we would share some of our first impressions with you. Some things we really liked, and some things maybe we didn't like so much. So let's get started.
Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. I'm Jamie, this is Sharon. We are Sharon at Sea Travel, and like Sharon said, first impressions are a big deal, and you can't help but make them when you get somewhere and it's a whole new experience for you. And our first impression with Princess started when we got dropped off by our Uber here at Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. There was a massive line of people, hundreds of people on this deck area in line to get in, and there was almost no direction whatsoever. There were multiple platforms people were going up. People were looking for different lines, priority lines and things. There were no other lines available. A guy even said, there are no other lines. There's only one line today. So I don't know how that works out for any of the VIP, folks on Princess or the high level loyalty people. And it was just chaos. Now, I will say the people handled themselves very well. There was like a snake line going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can see it here in the video a little bit. It was wild. And there were a few people that were a little pissed off, and some people trying to cut in line using folks that might have been a little older in their group as a crutch, so to speak, to get in there. But it was just wild. There was one guy out there that I saw coming in and out of the building just trying to help a few people, and that was it. So we just weren't expecting that kind of chaos for our first Princess cruise, were we?
No, and everyone had, I think, the same check-in time, 11:30 to 2 or 2:30. And so everyone, of course, I think arrived a little before 11:30 or
a lot before.
Yeah, a lot before. Yeah, because everyone wanted to get on the ship. So I feel like 3/4 of the ship all arrived at once.
Yes, and for the record, we were scheduled 11:30 to 2 or 2:30, like Sharon said. We got there at about 11:15 is when we got dropped off. So we weren't super early. We figured by the time we got there at that time, things would be rolling. Everyone would be inside, sitting in the air conditioning, waiting, to have their number called. Not the case. So first time, not a great time. I don't know how it's going to be going forward here in Port Everglades. Maybe they'll get everything wrapped up, and that was just the first big cruise experience, the first revenue sailing. But the first boarding experience for us, that wait outside was not pleasant, and people were not happy.
The next first impression I want to talk about is the cabin. So, you come in your cabin, you always get like a first impression, and a lot of times you're like, oh, wow, it looks great, or, oh, this isn't so good. Well, we came into our cabin. Of course, the ship's new. Everything looked clean, bright, modern, so lots of plug outlets. So, I mean, the cabin so far has been wonderful itself. Yes. The bed's comfortable, plenty of room, plenty of storage. Oh my God, the storage, there's several cupboards and drawers that we're not even using. There's plenty of little nooks and crannies and places to put things. So yes. I love that. And at a first impression, when we walked into the bathroom yesterday, it looked okay too. I mean, it looked small, like cruise ship bathrooms are usually, but we're like, oh, everything looks clean and new. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, once we actually had a chance to use the bathroom, then
that was a whole different experience.
That was otherwise. So although the cabin itself is wonderful, and I love the cabin, it's one of my favorite, just probably regular type balcony cabins we've had. But the bathroom, I'm going to say it is the worst bathroom as far as size goes that we've ever had on a cruise ship. Yes. It is small, tight, where the toilet area is tight. The shower is very, very narrow.
Yes.
The way you open the door, you have to kind of swing back behind the toilet there to even get the door open and closed. And I felt it was tight for me, and I felt it was just very narrow in the shower. I felt very claustrophobic in there. Then when Jamie went in there, what was your experience? It was...
Well, let's just say my elbows and knees are going to have a lot of bruises on them by the end of this cruise. No, well, like Sharon said, okay, it looks good. It's clean. There were some nice shelves for some storage of your items that you bring with you and stuff. But listen, if you're sitting on the toilet handling your business, there is barely any room for your legs to go any way but just straight. And that's not going to work for you. And then when I got into the shower itself, when I stood there facing the shower head, both my arms were touching, one on the wall and one on the door. So anytime you turn around or try to spin around, you're hearing, I mean, I'm literally squeaking in there. And at first, I really liked having the the controls on the side instead of underneath the head of the shower. We like the setup, but then I realized that when you turn around with your eyes closed, you got some soap in your eyes or something, you're jamming into the knob. You might hit it, and all of a sudden you put the hot to the cold or the cold to the hot, or you accidentally turn off the water. So it's very, very tight in there. And me saying it's tight is one thing, because I'm a big guy, right? So it's definitely not fluffy friendly. But if Sharon tells you that it's a small bathroom, then you know it's a small bathroom. All right, so cabin, great. Storage, awesome. But bathroom?
Giving it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down on the bathroom.
Now, get a good bathroom in there, and you'll have a perfect room, princess.
That's right. All right, so next, let's talk a little bit about technology. Now, I know that everything out there is run through the app nowadays on the cruises, and everyone's getting used to that. But Sharon, how about that app?
I'll say this is probably the most user-friendly app that we've experienced on any cruise. I love the app. I mean, you can do so many things on it. It's easy to navigate, and I thought it was great. And speaking of that, the medallion is a really cool feature too. As you walk to your cabin doors open as you get close to your cabin, and it's a little scary at first. You're like, is this cabin door really open just because we're here? Was it open? How far ahead was it open?
Well, and even like even when we walked into a restaurant, before we even give them anything, they're like, "Oh, James and Sharon."
They can see it
because the app, it gets the info. Or you go to a bar. You're like, hey, let me get something to drink, and then they go, okay, yes, James. I'm like, how do you know that I'm James? Can you read the little writing that's this small on my medallion? No, it's because the medallion has that connectivity.
It tracks you. It has that tracking.
So that was very cool.
It knows where you are at all times.
3, 4, 5 thumbs up for the Princess app.
So the app
user-friendly.
and the medallion. Love them both. Now let's talk a little bit about kind of just the entertainment and things going on around the ship, activities. I mean, Princess, they know how to party. I mean,
who knew they knew how? I did not know that Princess knew how to party.
I know. I pictured it a little more laid back, and but most everyone, I would say the majority of the people on the ship are a little more middle-aged. There are younger people, some really older people, but middle-aged seems to be the most, I guess, highest amount of demographic on the ship. But when we got on board, I will say the sail away party was a little underwhelming from what we've seen on some past cruises. But there was good music, but everything else has been great. There's been all kinds of singing, dancing, bands playing in the piazza, which is kind of like their atrium area.
Well, you said you liked the big show last night.
And the big show. We almost didn't go because we were running a little late from dinner, but we're like, oh, we'll pop in there anyways. We made it right as it got started. It was Janice Martin. She's
like multi-talented. She does guitar, violin, and acrobatics hanging from silk scarves from the ceiling. It's
just
crazy.
Like this trapeze thing where she's hanging upside down and playing a violin and all kinds of things. And then she plays multiple instruments and she sings. So she is very, very talented. I was very surprised by that. I almost was like, I could take it or leave the show. It didn't sound that interesting to me, just reading about it. But I am so glad that we made it. I thought the show was amazing.
Now, in addition to the main show in the main theater, Janice Martin, there was a lot of other stuff going on. And that's really where I was most shocked at the amount of partying going on this cruise ship. They had a welcome aboard kind of party thing in the piazza area. And that's their version of the atrium, 3 stories high. People watching, dancing on all 3 stories. There was a band jamming, and there were a ton of people dancing on the dance floor. They were doing some of the famous cruise ship. I don't know if they did the wobble, but they did a couple, like the electric slide. I don't know, a couple of those things where everybody was into it. But people were rocking, jamming, and that was a great time. And then there was a late night dance party in the dome.
Yeah, we had to go check that out.
I was like, whoa, it was deep, heavy, hip hop, bass pumping. I mean, okay, maybe it wasn't quite our scene, but if you wanted some late night boogieing, some dancing, and to really throw down, it was there for you. So Princess knows how to party, and I had no idea.
And finally, let's talk a little bit about the food. I know everyone wants to know about the food. So let's start. When we got on board, we just had kind of a quick meal. We didn't really eat too much until dinner time. But when we went to dinner, our first dinner was in the Soleil dining room, one of the main dining rooms. And I mean, it was probably one of our best main dining room meals ever.
Yes.
And the fact that it was embarkation day was amazing, because embarkation day, as most people know that have cruised, that's usually not the best meal in the main dining room. It's usually slow. There's issues and things like that. Yeah. There were no issues. Our food came promptly. Our wait staff was amazing. very attentive, and I can't say enough about it. It was great. And the food, everything tasted good. The presentation was good. Everything tasted amazing, and it was great. So far, all the food has been very good when it comes to quality. The only, I guess, maybe downfall I can say, or dislike, or issue maybe, is our room service this morning. We ordered some room service, and we filled out one of those little tags, you know, that you put on your door the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Everything came except for 2 items, but it was just kind of weird. So we had ordered some cereal, and we ordered milk for the cereal. Our milk didn't come. And then we had ordered an English muffin with like butter and jelly and everything. We had a plate with all the butter and jelly and everything on it, but no English muffin. So it was kind of funny, but we called them.
And the pizza muffins, the pepperoni pizza muffins didn't come too.
Yeah, we wanted to try that because it was something we've never seen on a menu before.
Yes.
So, but we called them, and within like 10, 15 minutes tops, they brought it to us. So no big deal. I mean, you know, there's always a little mix up sometimes on that.
Yes. Well, we were excited to try the room service because it's included in the package that we have. So that's pretty cool. There's no extra charge for it. And sure enough, we were jacked up. We were ready for it, and boom, almost half of it wasn't there. But they responded quickly and they handled it. So, you know, all's well that ends well with the room service story. But Sharon, that's about it, right? That's about 5 or 6 things. Our first impressions here after 24 hours on this ship. And we just wanted to come on and share it with you guys and let you know how it's going right out of the gate. We still got 4 more days to go.
Yeah, and we'll have a full review coming at the end of the cruise of how we liked everything or things we didn't like. We'll share all those with you. But if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more of our Sun Princess content or any other content we have coming up down the road. And hit the like button for us and share the video with family and friends.
That's right. So thanks a lot for watching. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys
in the next video.